And if anyone's wondering like where the return on the investment is here, I'm just going to do some quick math with you guys. That if you just take your 10% down payment that's due this year in 2021. Let's take, just for argument's sake, let's talk about a $500,000 purchase price. At 500,000, your 10% in 2021, it's going to be $50,000. Now, if the builder, along with passive appreciation, let's just say it goes up by 5%. If the purchase price appreciated by 5%, that's $525,000. You put in 10%, your value went up by 5%. You just made yourself 50% return in a year. The nice thing is in year 2 and 3 and so on, it's compounding over time. The new build condo investment strategy. Why do I like it personally? And why do, in the last 8 years, a little over 1,600 of our clients like this type of strategy? First and foremost, it's one of the most passive investments that you're ever able to do. It's actually, you guys have heard me say this, and if you're new to us, it's one of the most boring investments you'll actually do. It's almost like watching paint dry or grass grow, because you're going to buy something today that's going to be built in approximately 3 years from now. Well, there's some massive advantages because of that. You, as an investor, as you all know, you need to put down 20%. But here's the neat thing. You're able to put this 20% in installments. So commonly it's 5% in 30 days, 5% in 7 to 8 months, 5% a year and a half down the road, and then 5% when the building gets built in and around 3 years from now. That allows you to possibly invest in other investments, or it's a forced savings plan. That's one of the main reasons I like it, because once you're in the contract and once you've moved forward, well, now you have to make sure that you save money. It's why I like it for so many reasons, but that's one of my favorite parts about this investment, because now I know I need to save the money. It doesn't make me and doesn't allow me to buy other things that don't make me money, i.e. liabilities. And so another reason is that you actually don't need a mortgage. Now there's a formality we need to, and we'll take care of that. My whole team will walk you through that, specifically my VP here, Laura Stewart. A lot of you have heard her and seen her raspy voice on the podcast. She's our VP who walks you through the whole process, holds your hand throughout that whole process. That's the formality, needing a mortgage pre-approval, which again we'll take care of for you. But you don't need the mortgage because the building's not built for 3 years, 3.5 years down the road. Another huge benefit with this type of investment strategy is that it gives you options. It gives you flexibility in terms of closing. So you can close on it yourself. Macro thesis here at REC Canada is buying and holding, right? So we really want to help you close on this, because we know what happens later on, 5, 7, 10 years down the road, if you purchase it and actually hold on to it. But now, if you can't close on it for any reason, what we are able to do is we can do what's called an assignment. Now, that, in my opinion, should only be used if you cannot close on the property. An assignment is when you're going to take your agreement of purchase and sale and flip it to somebody else. Again, use that, in my opinion, as a security blanket. I'll talk about some other incentives that are involved in this opportunity. And then the third way that you can possibly close on it, which to me really is number 2, is possibly doing a joint venture. So if you're coming up to closing, you find out that you can't close on it, or you actually have a partner that is like, hey, I would love to put down 50% with you of the down payment that you put down, and we'll close on it together. See, because you have time, you bought it today, being built for 3 years from now, you have a bunch of options when it comes to closing. What we found in the 1,600 plus units that our team has done in the last 8 years, as long as you're buying in the first access of pricing in this strategy, you're generally going to see an uptake, an appreciation in price of approximately $90,000 to $110,000. That's what we've commonly seen on average in that 8 years, 1,600 plus units. Now, the trick is that you need to buy in the first access because, see, the builder, what they do is they actually force the appreciation. In the first allocation they get, that's why we're only able to come to you today with 5 to 7 units, because the builder, doesn't matter what they say, we have the experience now, we know that what they're going to do is, as they allocate more units, they're going to continuously increase the pricing. In fact, I actually like to see that as an investor. I actually like to see that as a broker for somebody that I'm doing a deal for, because I know then, as long as my guys and gals got in at the first access of pricing, then I know that they're protected, because the builder's going to increase the price. They actually increases it as soon as like 7 to 10 days, sometimes even sooner, but in and around that 7 to 10 day period. So you have a forced appreciation by the builder. You also have the passive appreciation that happens with the marketplace. And we always want to look at the location that we're thinking of investing. That is by far the number one part for us when it comes to due diligence, because obviously you can't pick up the building and move it. And so what we're trying to look for when it comes to location is, as an investor, where is the most, or like, where's the population growth? What's happening with jobs? What's happening with transit? Why? Because our customers, our tenants, are going to want to live there. We're going to have a steady flow of tenants. And so that's very, very important. Number one is the location. Number two is the builder. Part of our due diligence is looking at the builder. We want to make sure that it's not the builder's first time at the rodeo. You and I are not being used as the guinea pigs, so to speak. And then number three is the incentives that's being offered to you as an investor. And there's a few incentives that we always want to make sure that are in place, or it's pretty much non-negotiable for us. We're not going to talk about this project. I'm personally wouldn't look at investing into it. Number one is, we want to make sure as an investor that we have the ability to rent out the unit during occupancy. See, as a purchaser and or investor of a new build condo, you need to understand that there's two closings to this condo. There's occupancy. That's when the builder says, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, it's past all safety regulations. You're able to take occupancy of this unit, but it's not registered with the city yet in terms of all the, as a corporation. The registration is the second part of the closing. It's about 4 to 6 months apart. But in between that period, you as an investor have to pay an occupancy fee, which consists of the builder's interest payment on their mortgage, property tax, and condo fees. Now, if you can't rent it out, you're going to be out of pocket anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700 a month. It's just what it makes sense for a 4 to 6 month period. So we have to have in writing that we're able to rent it out, market rent. The nice thing at that point is as long as we have that in writing, you as an investor, you're going to be renting it out for more than your occupancy. Now, you'll see more cash flow at that point, but don't get used to it, because an investment like this is really more of an equity play. You're looking for the passive appreciation as well as the tenant paying down your mortgage. The second incentive that we need in place is the right to assign. As I was speaking earlier, if you just came on to the webinar right now, an assignment allows you to flip the paper to a new purchaser. Very important, because look, life happens. We don't know, right? You're buying something today for something that's going to be built for 3 to 3.5 years from now. Let's have a security blanket in case we can't close on it. You come across financial hardship, lifestyle changes, that at least you can get out of the contract by doing an assignment. The nice thing is we do that about 30 to 40 times a year. We'll be able to help you with that process. And even if we're conservatively looking at this opportunity with a 5% year over year increase, you'll be making a profit at the time of assignment. The third incentive that we like to see in place is development charges to be capped. Again, The builder doesn't even know what the city's going to charge them in terms of development charges 3 years down the road. So we want to make sure it's capped, because those development charges that the city charges the developer, that obviously gets passed on to us as purchasers. And so we want to make sure it's capped. If it goes higher, great, builder, you're out of pocket. If it's lower, we get charged the lower amount. We here at REC, when we talk about a project and any opportunity, we want you to know that we stick by the location and the investment, that we don't have, for lack of a better word, commission breath. So we always, anytime we talk about an opportunity, we'll always offer you an incentive for 1 year where we'll actually rent it out for you and help you manage it at no cost. So it's a fully turnkey investment. We're going to rent it out for you. We handle all the marketing for the tenant, the putting the tenant into the unit, doing the lease agreement, all of that. We handle all that for you at no cost for 1 year, to make sure that you understand we're here with you for the long haul. So that was kind of my recap on the investment strategy that is known as new build investing.